Howdy folks, today we're playing Orzhov Nurturing Pixie Blink Control in Aetherdrift Standard. Control and Pixie, I know maybe it is kind of antithetical. You're playing Grim Bauble, Hopeless Nightmare, Momentum Breaker. These cards you're trying to pick up with your Nurturing Pixie, replay them again for extra value. You also have Temporary Lockdown in this deck, which is, as you'll note, very good against mono red, but also it can get your Momentum Breakers, Hopeless Nightmares, Grim Baubles, and then you can destroy your own Temporary Lockdown with Get Lost to get all those cards back. The engine behind this deck is Unholy Annex to draw you some more cards, as well as the Pixie to pick stuff up. But also, Liliana the Veil is an absurdly powerful card in the right context. The right context being you have a very low resource game where both players are exchanging one for ones, and we can force that with a bevy of discard spells from Hopeless Nightmares and Momentum Breaker. If you go turn 1 Nightmare, turn 2 Breaker, turn 3 Liliana, I don't think that's a combination a lot of people are going to be able to beat. So Liliana really shines there. The Beza are here for aggro. I think you need a little bit more help against aggro. Control, I think you have a pretty good combination of things with Unholy Annex, Liliana, and the creature lands in the mana base. So I think you're pretty well suited against a lot of the meta. Domain, I think, is a deck you probably don't want to see, but even against Domain, you can get a bunch of things under your Temporary Lockdown, a couple of Nightmares, a couple of Momentum Breakers, a couple of Grim Baubles. Break your own Temporary Lockdown. That makes your Temporary Lockdown not a useless card in that matchup, which is nice. And also, it gives you the ability to get all this value a second time. And for Domain, we have the one of Tinybones, the Pickpocket. Whenever you deal combat damage to a player with Tinybones, you may cast target non-land permanent card from that player's graveyard, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. So we can cast our own Overlords if we get them to discard them. That's sort of the one of fun of plan there. Interesting deck. I think this deck could have pretty good win rate in the ladder, so let's go ahead and test that out. Alrighty, we are going first here. Get Lost on turn 2, turn 3 Lockdown, turn 4 Beza if it's an aggro, or we can turn 3 Unholy Annex if it's not. I like this plan. We're going to play, makes this a lot more viable. I know we don't have any of our discard spells here, but we're going to play, I think, makes this have a little bit of a chance against aggro, right? Temporary Lockdown's always pretty good. See what our opponent's up to here. Alrighty. Let's drop a hello for our opponent, drop a Concealed Courtyard, and pass the turn. Underground Mortuary, see what they mill here. Black, green. Could be several things. Not willing to commit to what our opponent's playing yet. Keep it on top. Let's go plains and pass. That way we have double white here for the Temporary Lockdown. Avatar, okay, this is just sort of the Domain deck. Green-black Domain. Potentially, let's just get this Unholy Annex down. Plains, sure thing. We can get to this Ritual Chamber eventually. Okay, this is just full-on Abzan here with the Overlord. We have these Get Lost against these Overlords as well. So, yeah, let's get a Beza to gain life and draw a card. Let's get this going. I don't think it's getting any better, actually. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Let's get positioned on the board. Gain life, draw a card. Now we have Hopeless Nightmare. The Beanstalk, sure thing. Yep, this is the, if you watch the intro, you'll know this is one of the decks I'm looking to avoid with our deck here. Okay, this should target our Unholy Annex. Now we have the Beza to get going, though. They have a Beanstalk. It's the only thing that could get hit by a Lockdown right now. Nightmare them. I think they have a Ride Down here, but Ride Down's gonna eat something, so might as well let it eat this Beza. Ride's End. I keep calling it Ride Down. I think Ride Down is like an old removal spell from way standards ago. Let me check. Ride Down. MTG. Yeah, it's a removal spell. It's a red-white removal spell from Eldritch Moon. Okay, Ride's End is what I expect them to have here. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and lock down our Nightmare and their Beanstalk. Okay, gonna get value out of their Binding now. We're on our Beza, that's fine. Yeah, no reason to Bauble. Now, a Bauble could be useful. Ooh. They do have the Zur. Okay, they're gonna get a tap token here. Alright, we can fight through one Zur, I think. Ooh, double Baubles is nice. And the Zur here. Makes our Baubles a little more worth it. They should be able to take advantage of the map tokens, though, which is not ideal for us. We're kind of running out of things to do. Another Zur, okay. They can animate a Leyline Binding. If they animate the one with the Unholy Annex, though, I think we will try to attempt to kill it. Beza, sure thing. Obviously, we have to kill it post Zur here. Gonna get lost. Sure. We can take our Nightmare back. Opponent's gonna discard and lose 2, but they're gonna draw 1 to replace. Made them spend a removal spell on that though, so that's something. Yeah, let's go ahead and kill this Zur now. Red them from getting the life gain. They're tapped out. Taking 6. Liliana here would be a good draw. Pixie, huh? Pixie. What can Pixie do for us? Mental Breaker would have been nice. I guess the Hopeless Nightmare is what we're trying to get, but should we Surveil 2 first? Go ahead and Surveil. We'll keep both of those. Get this Nightmare back. Play the Nightmare. Lose 2. Discard a Flood Farm Verge. Target our Pixie here. Get our planes. And I don't think we want to let our opponent know we have a Liliana coming. So I think we're best to not map this turn. Our opponent whiffs on 5-mana spells. I think we have a chance in this game. An Overlord here probably kills us, though. Yeah, Overlord of the Mistmoors. Not sure we're beating that one. GG's. Had a chance, had a chance. Alrighty, we're on the draw here. We have Bauble or Hopeless Nightmare on turn 1 if we want. I think this is solid. Let's keep this. See what our opponent's up to. Okay, so they have Battlefield Forge. I think, man, do I want to play this Restless Fortress? I have to play it at some point. I think I really want this temporary lockdown on turn 3, so I think I'm going to play this now. Grim Bauble or Momentum Breaker next turn, whatever our opponent plays. And then plan a temporary lockdown turn 3, or Annex depending on the matchup. I have to assume this is some sort of Boros aggro deck, though. Maybe it's the Goblins deck we played yesterday. I mean, I'd be surprised if it was the exact deck we played, but I mean, like, you know, some sort of Goblins style. Challenger, sure thing. They'll eat a Grim Bauble. Could eat a Momentum Breaker too. Yeah, it's more mana efficient. Yeah, let's do it like this. Sacrifice the Challenger. Next turn we can Bauble or Nightmare or lock down if they do 2 creatures here, for instance. We could lock it down. Nothing, hmm. Just the one Challenger. So we could Nightmare, see what they discard. Let's try that. I don't think we want to lock down just one Challenger. Let's see what they discard. Discard an Ethereal Armor. Okay. Could have played that. I think this is some sort of protection spell. Which I didn't consider. I think now, you know, having thought about it more, I would have played the Grim Bauble first and then kept the Momentum Breaker for this exact instance. What do we want to do here? Pass? I think we'll pass. We have this temporary lockdown to get around a protection spell, but I think we would like them to play another creature beforehand. Keeping the 2 mana up might make our opponent a little scared. Okay, now they're going to mouse. Sure thing. Now we're pretty incentivized to lock this down. We get a Plains. Okay. First strike, yep, okay. Opponent not pumping it. Gonna play a Plains and see what else they can play. They're probably gonna pass. Scavenger, okay. Now we're looking real nice for temporary lockdown. Into Hopeless Nightmare. I think we can wait and get another life on a future turn with the Hopeless Nightmare from the Momentum Breaker here. Even though it was pretty good timing there with our 2 mana open. Let's lock this down. Opponent hits us with the nice, and that's all she wrote. We were patient enough with it, waited till our opponent committed more to the board, and GG's, that's why it's in the deck. Alrighty, we're going first, but no white mana. Can't keep this hand. This next, oof, okay, yeah, we're gonna need another land, but I think we don't need 2 annexes. Start with the Nightmare. Opponents with the, I think that's Jaya in red in general. Probably some sort of red deck. It means we're definitely going to just want to get to this temporary lockdown as soon as possible. Shock, yep, okay, I didn't shock me there. Swiss Spear, yep, sure thing. Okay, let's draw a land. Lockdown's fine. If we're not going to draw a land, it's not a bad draw. But I've seen better. Swiss Spear coming in. Nothing, huh? Manifold Mouse. Okay, lockdown with a land. Perfectly on time. That's what we like to see. Opponent's going to pass. Do they develop another board? Okay. So I think we're just going to go ahead and Liliana here. Try to get some burn spells out of our opponent's hands. I think this Get Lost is fine to get rid of.
We all have things we'd rather.
Or do we want to get rid of this Annex? Yeah, I thought we should get rid of the Annex. Losing life is probably too bad in this matchup. Opponent might have to commit like Challenger plus spell here to remove our Liliana, which would be fine with, I think. It'd have to be Challenger plus. I mean, it couldn't just be a shock unless it was also directed at Liliana. So what are we getting here? Like a Monstrous Rage. Yep. Monstrous Rage coming through. Challenger exiled.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Alright, let's lock it down. Don't want them to be able to just spiral into card advantage here. Gonna need to draw something though. Screaming Nemesis is pretty good. Prevents some life gain. We have a Get Lost for that though. Caves. Yep. Up to 5 mana now. Pretty good on mana. I don't need to draw any more of that. Spirit, sure thing. Yep, go ahead and blow this up while we can. Get some Monstrous Rage out of their hand. Gives them 2 map tokens though. No creature to take advantage. At least that land is a creature, so it's basically just a 3/3 here. 3/3 is fine. Might lightning strike it, but I'd be fine with that exchange, I think. They're gonna land, huh? It's got vigilance. Let's get in there. Down to 15. We're at 15. Opponent probably has a lot of spells in hand that pump their creatures. So it's under this lockdown. We have Hopeless Nightmare, Swift Spear, Manifold Mouse. Don't think we want a Pixie just yet. We want to Pixie a lockdown when our opponent is able to better threaten us. We can pick more things up. Okay, they must have drawn a land this turn. Momentum Breaker. I think that's pretty good. I think that's actually worth picking up with the Pixie. Opponents should be discarding pump spells here. Ooh, burn. That's interesting. I think our opponent would just be pointing burn at us. You don't think, especially a shock? I don't know. It's a weird discard there. They're gonna lightning strike our Soulstone Sanctuary. They're just gonna concede. All right, another victory over the red decks. GG's. Alrighty, opponent's going first. We have a couple Grim Baubles. This hand is gonna look bad if our opponent is not on mono red, but we will see if they are. Sparbuff Quinal. Oh, it's a cycling deck. Okay, definitely want to try to get rid of their cycling creatures that'll grow as soon as possible. Tinybones might be able to play some of those creatures. We're gonna pump some of their creatures up with no crap. Oh, I'm so glad it. I'm so glad I let us take that back because I wanted to cast the Grim Bauble, not the Tinybones. It just has the 1 mana pip, and I got flustered for a sec. Okay, next turn we can either Annex, Get Lost, or we could Nightmare plus Tinybones. We're like Tinybones plus Get Lost in T. Yeah, let's Tinybones. Let's try to Get Lost this. Sweet. Next turn we have an Unholy Annex. Tinybones might be able to recast some things if it gets through. Well, not getting through now. Opponent has just the all creature draw. Alright, Pixie would be a fantastic draw here. Liliana is not bad either though. Can't Nightmare and Liliana. Can't play 2 spells here. If we could play 2 spells, I'd be feeling pretty good about this. Let's attack with Tinybones. It's got Death Touch. Opponent might spend a card. Spend a card on it. Looks like they will. Soul Partition, sure thing. So they have these map tokens. Yeah, I think we're just gonna Liliana here. Just tick down, get a creature gone. It's gonna spend a turn destroying our Liliana, you would imagine. Or they could leave it. It's possible they just leave it here because they can get rid of all the spells in their hands. Discarded a Soul Partition, which could have been good against our Annex. Okay, mapping up. Get a Seachrome Coast. Mapping up again. FOMO, okay. Fear missing out. Mills FOMO. Feel like they have enough creatures, maybe? Planetier's not bad. Let's see if we can hit it. Tap land, okay. Unholy Annex it is. Next turn we're looking to unlock this door if possible. Momentum Breaker on this Guardian would be solid. Just 3 could be worse. Chart a course. Draw 2. Let's see. FOMO. Okay, so they already had a FOMO. Interesting. They could have... We'll be entering minions. Okay, sure thing. FOMO means you're going to get a second combat phase. Alright, gotta see if they have removal or not. They can't remove our 6/6. We're in a solid spot. We'll block the FOMO. Don't think we'll block the Guardian. Scholar, okay. They might not attack with the FOMO. If they don't attack with FOMO, I don't think I'm going to block. Let's see what they do. Nothing, huh? We have 5 mana. We could Annex, Pixie, in either Nightmare or Bauble. Let's attempt to Bauble here. Pick this up. Try to cast it and target their Scholar here. They're fine with it. Okay, another Annex. Spell Pierce, okay. Restless Fortress. We'll pass here though, I think. I think. Oh, we could hit them down to... Yeah, no, I think we're attacking. No, yeah, I think attacking's good with the Hopeless Nightmare in hand and everything. Draw a card, opponent loses some life. Liliana's not bad. Hopeless Nightmare next turn. Now our opponent has to find a way to solve this demon, otherwise they're kind of SOL. So I don't think I'm going to block either. 8 in the air plus Nightmare plus Annex is 12. If they kill the Pixie, then we still have lethal, but our opponent doesn't know about it because of the Nightmare. Alright, can we die this turn? So let's say they have... I have a Oculus. So they could have a +3, like they had Monstrous Rage here, so make this a 6/3, 6, 8, or 6, 12, 14. So that's not even gonna kill us. Okay. Maybe we can pretty comfortably no block. Okay. Yep. Didn't block first time, not blocking the second time. Discarded advantage. Discarded advantage, okay. Alrighty, yeah, our opponent was looking for us to block with the Pixie. We weren't going to give it to him, and GG's. Alrighty, this hand is How Much Do You Believe in Liliana? I believe. We'll see. This is not Liliana in her best environment, of course. She would like some discard spells first, but that's alright. Opponent's Adhikar Wastes. Could be Pixie. What else plays in Adhikar Wastes? Not sure. Alright, Liliana time. You have your counter spell for it. Blue-White Control could be. I mean, it might be Blue-White Control. We're gonna see if they have a second counterspell this turn, though. Three steps ahead. Okay, opponent using their counters. Hoping to draw another high impact engine next turn. Alright, Beza time. Would you like to counter again? You would not. Okay, I will take my card. Ooh, Annex, nice. Would you like to remove my Beza? They would. It's getting lost. Opponent passes. Let's Annex. As it gets around to no more lives, I think it's worth. They could have a 3 steps ahead. No more lives here. We have the 3 to pay. I think that is what's in their hand. No more lives. Let's go ahead and pass here. They have a removal spell for it. Could be a soul partition. Could also be another get lost, obviously. Did it get lost to be a little brutal? Dang. Okay. Got a plethora of map tokens here. So let's just get busy with them. Could be another, could be no more lives as well. We'll submit 0 and just start trying to use these map tokens. Does our opponent care that much? They don't care. I think we need to do better than Nightmare. See what else we can hit here. Get Lost. I think we do better than Get Lost since we have one in hand. Got a 3/3 roll in here, though. Opponent might take this opportunity to Demolition Field or Sanctuary. They don't have a 3-mana card draw spell that makes sense. I'm not sure what it would be. This deck is usually playing stock up nowadays. Take Plains. Alright, opponent 19. We have a Pixie. We're going to try to just keep going with these maps. The 3 damage is not going to matter, but the cards we get from the map could matter. This is a Restless Fortress. It'd be nice to get it down now. Nurturing Pixie. I think we can do better than that. Alright, let's get him for 4. Opponent might be hesitant to use mana here. Because they know we could have another Ride's End or something. Alright, Courtyard. Pass the turn. What you got? Probably remove a spell on the Pixie. Not that they wanted to use. Okay. This deck usually is playing some number of Mistmoors. Overlord of the Mistmoors. See if they're willing to use a remove spell on this Pixie or not. No, taking some more damage. Sure thing. Pass the turn. Decent flood. I mean, we did hit a lot of those lands off the 4 map tokens they give us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 mana. We can cast anything. We can cast an Annex into the Ritual Chamber if we would like. Opponent has to be sitting on counter spells, so I'm not really sure what else they would be doing. Because they're missing land drops. Counter spells or removal spells or sweepers. Opponent has had enough of our Nurturing Pixie. Top or bottom? I think I can go at the bottom. Gonna Nightmare them. And they have a Hornlock Whale. Should they discard? They don't have any lands, so Elspeth Smite makes sense. Probably have a few more of those where that came from. You can sacrifice this Nightmare to Scry. They could just Whale here. Whale would be kind of a greedy play when you can play it at sorcery or at instant speed with a flash. Because we're not going to attack you next turn, so there's really no reason to want to get this untapped. I think they're planning to play this Whale this turn though. Let's Scry. Need an Annex. Yep. That's not bad. Let's try to play it. Opponent probably has a counter spell here. to normalize though. I might have to spend 2 of them. 3 steps ahead, draw 2, discard. Okay. See if they have another one next turn for our next Annex though. Discards a Sunfall, sure thing, no problem there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beza. Okay. We're at card parity, so sure, just gain the life. Try to kill this Beza here. They want to counter this, that's fine. We have another Annex on top. Sure thing. Alright, Annex time. Do you have your third 3 steps ahead? Double normalize does it. They do have the third 3 steps ahead. Get rid of these treasures and maps with a lockdown. I don't think it's getting any better than this. So yeah, we're through 3 Annexes. They're through 3 steps ahead. Anchorage. Yeah, we would get lost for that. Or for the whale. Caves, no problem. Pass the turn. Whale time, I imagine. Yeah. See if they pump up the anchorage or not. Alright, fine to use this here. We'll go ahead and pay. Opponent did a pretty good job of not letting us get down any of our spells. They counted Liliana, Unholy Annex, Unholy Annex, Unholy Annex. Okay, another Get Lost, sure. Weird, strange game with all the Get Lost and stuff that we've drawn. An Anchorage, another Whale. Just kill a second Whale. If we wait, then they can get a map token off it. Now at least they have to pump the Anchorage, and that'll maybe leave us up to being able to draw a powerful card this turn if we really want to use these maps. If I'm our opponent, I'm just being pretty patient here. I'm just waiting, making land drops, unless they don't have lands. If they don't have lands, I might power up this Restless Anchorage. If they don't have lands or counter spells, then yeah, I would probably power up the Anchorage and map. But if I had lands and counter spells, I certainly wouldn't. If I had just counter spells, I think I would be patient. I think this means the coast is clear. So if we draw something good this turn, we could punish our opponent here. Stock up, yeah, they're definitely keeping that. Yeah, see, I think they're out of counter spells here, so this is our turn to draw and resolve something. Hopefully we can get it done. Liliana would be good here. Unholy Annex would be good. Plains. Okay. Not what we're looking for. Opponent is overjoyed, I'm sure, at what has transpired in that turn where we just drew and passed. Yep, stock up. Sure thing. Yeah, now we need Annex into removal spell for the anchorages. Almost got there. Got our opponent to a point where they were out of counter spells, and they had to have, they had to have all the 3 steps ahead. They had to have the normal lives, Their draw lined up pretty well for what we were doing, so we made them have it, and they did. Momentum Breaker, unfortunately, does not have flash. Not going to kill the anchorages. So GG's. Close game though. Despite there being an overwhelming loss at the end there, I think we were in that game. We had a good shot at it. Shows the power of the deck, I think. GG's. Alrighty, opponent's going first. We'll go ahead and keep Pixie to get back this Momentum Breaker several times. Valgavoth's Lair, red enchantment lands. Interesting. Hardfire Hero. Enters tapped though. I'm not really sure what the idea is there. All I know is, yeah, we're gonna try to bobble here. I'm gonna use a removal spell here. Yep. Sounds good. And so we could Pixie the Bauble back. Yeah, let's do that. Provide some sort of blocker this turn. Make our opponent use a Monstrous Rage if they want to actually get through. Manifold Mouse, okay. Monstrous Rage. Oof. It's a big hitter there. Soak up the damage as much as we can. I think we're going to take 12 down to 7 here. Have a temporary lockdown though. Hopefully help us out a bit. Need to dodge some hasty threats now. And why is there this Valgavas layer in the deck? I don't get it. Interesting. Yeah, Bauble, Pixie, replay Bauble. Let's try that. Bauble, Pixie. Replay Bauble. Down to 4 though. Unfortunately, these ritual chambers are gonna cost some life. If we could draw an untapped black source, it'd be pretty good. Grim Bauble, huh? Yeah, I think we're just passing the turn. Opponent's passing back. Okay, a little Sanctuary. Wow. I really don't think we want to go down to 2 because we're just going to take... We'd lose to a shock. Yeah, I think we're just going to attack with this Sanctuary. And Pixie now, I think. Now we have a blocker. Opponent's going to pass. Okay, let's start surveilling here. Oh, it's going to cost a life, though. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. Oh my goodness. Brutal here with the Caves of Koilos. Okay. Guess we're just doing this for the next few turns. And that gives haste. Yikes. White land, not really what you're looking for. Okay. Not sure what to do. So we can't play any of these removal spells on our opponent's turn. So our choice is to play this 6/6 and die to a shock, or pass and potentially die to Monstrous Rage, which I think they're a lot more likely to have. I think we would have seen shock by now. Ugh. See if we die to shock or not. Yikes. Made the wrong decision there. Tough bind we were put in with the Caves of Koilos. I feel like they didn't have the Lightning Helix. They hadn't used it, or shock. I feel like they might have used it over all those turns where they just had wasted mana, so that way they could have more mana up for any time they had haste. But oh, got punished there. GG's. Alrighty, opponents going first. We have the triple Concealed Courtyard mana base. Not bad. Nightmare, Momentum Breaker, Unholy Annex, Beza. I'll try that out. This is the mirror potentially. Okay, no, this is a similar deck though, with scavengers and whatnot, pixies and whatnot. It should be pretty similar. I wonder if we're favored or not. Sheltered by Ghosts. Makes sense to give that one up. Nightmare, sure thing. I think we can ditch this plains. Second nightmare, tough. Gotta keep this momentum breaker. I think we can ditch the Beza. We're not gonna draw cards off it or anything now. We're just gonna try to hopefully get there with our Annex. We drop another nightmare on us. I think we're just discarding an Annex. Opponent is out of this game. They decided that's all she wrote. GG's. Alrighty, we're going first. Triple lockdown, Liliana. I don't think we can keep that one. Looks to be a better hand. What are we gonna put back? Maybe just Tinybones. Probably the Tinybones. Let's see. Yeah, I think we need turn 1 Restless Fortress, turn 2 Courtyard, into Momentum Breaker, into either Pixie Breaker and turn 3 or Annex. And that just doesn't leave room for this Tinybones, so on the bottom it goes. The opponent has Mulligan as well. Fair fight here. 6v6 cards in hand. Puts a nice little lion. Nice little red going here. Does it mean this is mono red we're playing against? Could be. Opponent down to 5. Yikes. See what they have. Is it Lanowar Elves? Forest. Alright, let's make their discard a little worse. If they have Obstinate Bailoff or something here, it'd be a huge blowout. No, they don't. Okay. Alright, their Mulligan has been even more punished. Armored Armadillo. Okay, I think that affords us a little time to Unholy Annex or drawing cards. Next turn, we can Pixie Breaker. If they play a small creature, we can Bauble it. I think we're sitting pretty here. Sheltered by Ghosts. Okay, hits our Annex, but we're going to be able to get it back with the Momentum Breaker. Let's pick this up. You can sacrifice a creature, sir. Go ahead and pass the turn. Oh, you have to re-unlock this. I did not think about that. Okay. Let's unlock it here. We could start our engines. I think we just want to block here. Yeah. It's gonna try to block, prevent this Calyx from duplicating anything. And they can't. GG's, another victory. Let's head to the wrap-up. Alrighty, and we're back with Orzhov Control. And this deck was pretty good. I was impressed in its ability to successfully stomp out mono red and sort of, the mirror decks we played. It was quite bad against Domain. We knew that going in, but I thought maybe we'd have a chance with lockdowns, Lilianas, and whatnot. I just think that that's a matchup you got to give up on. That's primarily why the Tinybones is in the deck. I think you can probably change out Tinybones for the another copy of Liliana or whatever your fancy is. A 9th discard spell even. Tinybones is a legendary enchantment. I think. Otherwise, though, you're pretty happy with this deck. We did lose our one matchup to Control, but, they had counterspells for all our Annexes and Liliana. I think if you resolve one of those, you're pretty good, or have a creature land. It kind of just didn't have much going in that game in terms of creature lands, and, it was close. Overall, though, very happy with the deck. You can definitely grind your way up to the ladder. The games are fun. You have a lot of decision points with your Pixies and your Breakers and when to play what. Pretty cool stuff. I would recommend playing it. Hopefully you guys pick this up on the ladder and you dominate with it as well. And until next time, wherever you are, whenever you are, have a magical day.